Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the invisible forces that literally power our world. I'm talking about the everyday tech that makes global communication possible, heats up our lunch, and even protects our health. We're going to explore the super fascinating world of electromagnetic waves, zooming in on microwaves and ultraviolet light. Once you grasp the physics behind these everyday waves, it'll completely change how you see the invisible mechanics working all around us. To set the stage, our source material brings up a really interesting quote from Ephesians chapter 5, verse 13. But everything exposed by the light becomes visible, and everything that is illuminated becomes a light. The text uses this passage to make a much bigger philosophical point. It suggests that studying invisible electromagnetic waves, which, by the way, are literally just a form of light, actually exposes the hidden mechanics of our universe. By shining a light on these scientific concepts, we get the understanding we need to actually harness these forces in real life. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the invisible waves around us. Second, microwaves, and how they handle heating and tracking. Third, we're going to see how UV light acts as a germ terminator. Fourth, we'll do a quick test of your wave knowledge. And finally, we'll look at education powered by morality. The invisible waves around us and microwaves for heating and tracking. Now, when you hear the word microwave, you probably immediately think of that box sitting in your kitchen, right? But in physics, a microwave isn't an appliance at all. It's actually a specific frequency band of electromagnetic energy. It's a wave that has relatively low energy and long wavelengths, and it has some incredibly versatile properties. And this brilliantly illustrates how wave energy becomes a hot meal. When you turn on your microwave oven, it blasts these specific low-energy waves into the box. These waves are looking for one thing: water molecules inside your food. Because water molecules are polar, this rapidly changing electromagnetic field forces them to flip back and forth literally millions of times a second. It's like making them do an ultra-fast microscopic dance. This rapid movement creates intense friction, and that friction generates heat. So your food basically cooks incredibly fast from the inside out. But, this frequency range does way more than just popcorn. These waves are absolutely crucial for modern infrastructure. Because microwaves can easily pass right through the atmosphere and all sorts of weather, they're the exact same waves used in police radar guns to catch speeders, and by meteorologists to track severe storms. Plus, since they travel so well over huge distances, they're the vital tools we use for deep space satellite communication. Oh, and perhaps most importantly for us, these are the exact invisible waves coming from the Wi-Fi router that's powering your internet access right now. Section 2. UV light, the germ terminator, and harnessing higher energy. So let's shift gears and move up the electromagnetic spectrum to ultraviolet, or UV light. This specific band packs significantly more energy and has much shorter wavelengths than microwaves or even the visible light we see with our eyes. And with that major bump in energy comes a totally different set of rules and real-world superpowers. UV sterilization is where we really see the sheer destructive power of these waves. Because UV waves carry so much intense energy, they don't just jiggle molecules around to make heat. No, they actually cause photochemical reactions. When these waves hit microorganisms, they go straight for the nucleic acids. They act like a microscopic terminator, completely breaking down and destroying the bug's DNA structure. This neutralizes the harmful bacteria, scrambling their genetic code, so there's absolutely no way they can function, metabolize, or reproduce. The big takeaway here is the massive difference in energy levels. Think of it like this. Microwaves are your lower energy workers. They're perfect for exciting water molecules to make heat, or for bouncing signals around for radar and Wi-Fi. UV light, on the other hand, is your high energy heavy hitter. It breaks apart DNA, making it an incredible tool for sterilization. But because it's so powerful, it comes with a catch. That same high energy capacity means UV rays from the sun can easily damage human skin cells. That's exactly why we get sunburns. Let's look at how we safely harness both of these out in the real world. While your microwave oven vibrates water to heat up leftovers, UV tech is all about extreme clean. UV water purifiers use intense ultraviolet rays to blast pathogens in flowing water, giving us safe drinking water without changing the taste at all. And in hospitals, sterilizers use concentrated UVC lamps to decontaminate operating room tools. It's a way to get a deep, reliable clean without relying on harsh chemical sprays. Section 3. Test your wave knowledge with a quick review. We've just blasted through some heavy science about the electromagnetic spectrum, so let's do a rapid-fire review to cement what you've learned.
we're going to hit a few core concepts to really lock in the differences between these invisible forces. Ready? Let's go. Question 1. How do microwaves cook food? Well, they do it by emitting low-energy waves that specifically excite and vibrate water molecules. Because those water molecules are polar, the changing magnetic field makes them constantly realign themselves. This ultra-fast vibration creates internal friction, and boom, that generates the heat that cooks your meal. Next up, what does UV light do to germs? The answer? It aggressively breaks down their DNA. The high-frequency energy of UV light smashes right through the cell walls of microorganisms and scrambles their genetic material. This totally neutralizes them, destroying their ability to multiply or cause infections.
So why should you limit your UV exposure? Because the exact same superpower that destroys germ DNA can also damage human skin. The energy is so high that it penetrates our tissue and damages living cells. If you get too much exposure, it overwhelms your body's natural repair system, and you end up with a nasty sunburn or even long-term skin damage.
Can you give one use of microwaves outside of cooking? We actually covered a few. Beyond the kitchen, these low-energy waves are the backbone of how we communicate. They're used in police radar guns, weather tracking systems, space satellite communication, and of course, the Wi-Fi router sitting in your living room right now. Last question. What makes UV light more dangerous than visible light? It really just comes down to the fact that it packs way more energy. While visible light has wavelengths that are perfectly safe for our eyes to process, UV radiation has shorter, much higher energy wavelengths. That extra power can cause biological damage, which is why we have to be so careful with it.
Section 4. Education powered by morality, the ultimate tool. Now, let's slow down for a second. We've spent this explainer looking at the amazing physical power of these invisible forces and how we use them. But our source material takes a really interesting pivot here. It suggests that having scientific knowledge is only one piece of the puzzle when it comes to a successful life. Looking at the Heroesmartacademy Godly Learners series, the text intertwines education with biblical morality. The source material basically argues that education without a moral compass can actually cause harm. Think about it. Scientific knowledge is just a tool, exactly like UV light or microwaves. The text poses the idea that true intelligence requires moral grounding. That way, these powerful tools and the knowledge behind them are used responsibly to help people rather than hurt them. To back this up, the source material points to Romans chapter 8, verses 6 and 7, which explicitly connects a spiritual mindset with true peace of mind. The text is suggesting that when you combine formal education with a solid spiritual and moral foundation, that's when you actually achieve wisdom. From this perspective, peace of mind comes from knowing you are applying your knowledge ethically. It frames this balance as the absolute ultimate goal of learning. So what does this all mean for us? Here is a final thought to ponder from today's source material. With the invisible forces you now understand, how will you choose to use your education to create light instead of hurt? It's a big question. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and we'll see you next time.